Oh, hi guys, Howard again. This review is a little bit different. Phil, a brother-in-law of mine who gave me this camera a few years back, has press-ganged me into doing a review of it. So in pursuit of keeping the in-laws happy, here goes. Well, actually, I don't really mind too much, and they were excellent cameras. Strangely, Olympus was very late to the SLR scene, more than 10 years behind the main players, Nikon, Canon, etc. The first model in 1972 was called the M1 after Mr. Maitani, but this was short-lived as Leica were not prepared to let them get away with using their rangefinder camera names, so it very quickly became the OM1, Olympus Maitani 1. It was quite different from its competitors in that it was significantly smaller and lighter. My model, the OM1N, kindly donated by my brother-in-law Phil, is very similar to the OM1 except that it has a base plate that accepts motor drives. Designed by that aforementioned genius designer Mr. Maitani, it weighs into fairly light 720 grams, roughly 25 ounces. That's with a standard 50mm f1.8 lens, and is far lighter than my Nikon F, for example, at 1200 grams, 42 ounces. And that's including the photomic prism. And it was also lighter than the rest of the competition at that time. Despite being late to the scene, these cameras became very popular very quickly, due in no small part to the fact that they were smaller, lighter and more compact, as were their exceptional range of very high-quality optics. They also developed a sufficient range of accessories to qualify them as a genuine professional-level camera system. They had something like 20 screens and a couple of different motor drives and various other attachments that really qualified them as a professional system. Olympus never quite reached the level of Nikon and Canon, however, but were right in the mix with all the other major brands. The OM1N was followed by the OM2 in 1975, and then a range of 2s, 3s and 4s were released well into the 1980s. The OM1N has a match needle centre-weighted metering system in the viewfinder, requiring the dreaded 1.35 volt mercury battery. But as we have discussed in other videos, this problem can be solved by using a wine cell, WEIN, or a 1.5 to 1.35 volt converter. Also, the OM1 is a fully mechanical camera, unlike some of the later models, so it can be used without a battery if metering is done externally. Okay, so let's have a look at this lovely little camera. We'll start on the front now. The first thing to see is the lens. This was the standard lens that came with them. If you just went in and said, I want an Olympus OM1N, as it comes, you'd get this lovely little f1.8 50mm lens. Exceptionally sharp, very high quality lens, not a kit lens by any means, and you know, if you get one with that, you're doing well. Okay, you'll see there's a little button on the top here, and there's another one 180 degrees opposed to it. So to remove the lens, you press those in, rotate it anti-clockwise and just lift it off. Now, as you can see, it's a very compact little lens. We've got the distance scale on the back, lovely and smooth. We've got the apertures on the front, and a very nice quality unit. All right, so what else have we got on the front? The main thing we notice is the self-timer here. So the self-timer is a little bit different to some, in as much as you don't set it off with the shutter button. There's a little tab here. You push that up to vertical and it sets the self-timer off. And a very robust, very solid system. It's not the sort of thing that breaks down. So unlike a lot of rangefinder self-timers, these are excellent. It's also got a mirror lockup, which is this unit here. So if we rotate that upwards 90 degrees, it takes the mirror, as you can see, takes the mirror up with it. So, you know, that has its uses. It slightly reduces the vibration of the shutter by having the mirror up, but not by much. Okay, we'll put the mirror back down again. Okay, it's got the usual strap lugs. Now this little device here, because these were designed for a motor drive, you couldn't have a button on the bottom to push in to sort of to cancel out the drive system to rewind the film. So in this case, a little red dot on the top, you rotate that around again anti-clockwise till the little dot lines up with the red R for rewind, and that disables the drive mechanisms inside the camera. Anyway, we'll leave it up for the moment. What else have we got on the front? Now, this camera is quite unique in as much as the only other camera that I'm aware of that used this system is the Nikkormat, and that's putting the speed ring around the front of the lens. So it goes all the way from a second all the way around to 1,000th, and it seems like a very good system. Nikkormat did exactly the same thing, and it works well. I've had no issues at all. It's got a little motor drive badge on the front here. I think some of the later modified OM1s also had a little modified motor drive badge, because the OM1s you could get your base plate modified or get one of these base plates fitted. But yeah, the original OM1, as it came, could not use a motor drive. It also has a little flash sync port on the side here, and you can select between, as you can see here, there's FP for an X, so we keep it the little red dot down on X because we don't want to use bulbs, but if you are using bulbs you could rotate that so that the little red dot pointed up at FP, but we'll leave it down on X for the time being. Okay, so I think that's everything on the front. We've got a standard rewind system, and you always rewind clockwise. A little switch here to turn the metering on and off. That's all it does. Metering on, metering off. There's a mechanism here to clamp down a flash shoe. I took it off. You can see where it's been sitting on the prism. I took it off because I never use a flash on these cameras anymore, but but there was a little flash shoe screwed in there, and then if you used the flash you could put the lead in around here. Now where the speeds normally are, of course, we've got ASA, just to be different because the speeds are here, so just get that out of the way. Now as you can see, it goes from 25 around to 1600, so it's a good range of film speeds it can handle. Around the shutter button here there's a little ring, and you can see a black line where it is closest to the ASA ring. You see a little black line, and that's where you line your ASA up. And this is a little plunger, sprung plunger, so you hold the plunger down, select the ASA to match your film, let it up, and it clicks into place. Yeah, so that clicks into place very nicely. Look at the film advance lever, shutter button, and the frame counter window, which sets automatically back to start when you open the back. Now we'll open the back now. Okay, so it's all pretty standard in here. Drop your film in, put that down, locate it properly, pull it across. Now you can see the take-up spool here winds clockwise. So wind it across, wind it across till you find a slot in the right position. Push the tongue of the film in, make sure it locates on a little tooth and is sitting on the sprockets. Wind it through a couple of times just to make sure it's winding properly, and then shut the back. Now before I shut the back, I'll just show you around the front here. If we put that on to around to come on, you can do it, around to rewind, you'll see that the drive mechanism is totally disabled, so you can rewind the film. But the minute you start to wind on, it goes back up and locks the mechanism again, so that your drive mechanism is locked again automatically. Okay, so what have we got on the back? Really only the viewfinder. It's a good size. It's got slots so you can fit diopter adjustments if you buy diopter adjusting screens. I just tend to wear my glasses, so. Alright, now around on the bottom, as we say, this is a motor drive design, so we've got the 2 contact points for the motor drive, the standard tripod mount for the screw to hold the motor drive on, a little hole for a pin on the motor drive to locate it all securely, and you remove this panel so that the mechanism on the motor drive goes in through there and locates to the drive mechanism. And of course this is just a standard metering cell battery cover. So that's everything on the bottom. I think I've done everything on the front. Strap lugs, did I mention them? Yeah, there they are. So a very nice compact little camera. I'll just put the lens back on it. There's a red dot on the lens barrel just there, so just line it up with a red dot there and rotate it to the right until it clicks in. Yep. Okay, so there we go, the Olympus OM1N from roughly 1972. Lovely little camera. I put a film through this, just black and white FP4 a couple of weeks ago, developed it in Rodinal and scanned it with my old Cano scan, and the pictures were really good and sharp as a tack. So a very good little camera. I could, if you can track one down there, I mean they're not cheap. To get a good one you're going to be paying at least a couple of $100. And it has got the advantage over some of the later ones that it is fully mechanical. So I think mechanical, so it doesn't need a battery. I'm not sure. I think the OM3 and 4 might have required a battery to actually work. Anyhow, look, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. I mean, it costs you nothing, and it does help the channel in its own small way. So look, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.